To get on the win tonight, obviously got to be feeling good after that one. Just give us your first thoughts on the fight itself and overall your performance.
Yeah, Denzel was a good game opponent. I feel like you don't really see a lot of heavyweights move, and so the fact that like we were moving, but he was cutting angles, it was a great fight. It's kind of what you want. You know, obviously you're going in there for the knockout. I got to put my name on the map, but it was a banger of a fight, so I can't complain.
Did you expect him to go to the wrestling a little bit earlier on in the fight, just with his background with USA Wrestling and all that, or I guess what was kind of the game plan entering this fight?
Yeah, I mean that was pretty much the thought. But I also know that he won the last fight by kick, so I knew to pay attention to the kicks, look out for those. But I figured that if I can frustrate him, block some of those kicks, counter, land some shots like I did, eventually he's going to go to his tee. So yeah, I knew he was going to shoot for the wrestling eventually.
Last question for me. Obviously, 3-0, got me feeling good. What do you feel like are some of the biggest improvements you've made since the Challenger Series that you've really honed in on and really taking your game to the next level?
Man, so I got stronger, and shout out to my nutritionist, Dawn Kelly. Put on probably about 12 pounds. I think I weighed in about 12 pounds heavier, but a lot more muscle and a lot more power and strength than the last time. Still shaping up the cardio. And then I got a maniac for a coach, man, Francisco Bueno, keeping me strong. And then also, man, I did a lot of work at ATC, Anesthetic Training Club. So shout out to those guys working on my wrestling. Jorge helping me with my Greco, freestyle MMA, ATT Nevada, bro, baby, Inlo. So many people helped out with this camp. So honestly, at the end of the day, it's like I came in with a striking background, but my goal is to be a very well-rounded fighter and show what I did today. Even if you put me on the canvas, I'm going to get back up. So, and then eventually, you know, you'll see some groundwork out of me one day.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it.
You know, it's a split decision. Just sitting there waiting, I mean, what were you feeling?
I knew it was a close call. Man. Going into the third, my coach was like 1-1, maybe 2-0 you, and I looked at him and I was like 1-1. That was my mindset going into the third. Is like it's way too close for comfort, and man, he was a game fighter. I didn't expect the movement and the angles that he brought, so he forced me to work for my shots and like work for every punch that I landed. Because if you watch my Challenger Series shots, I like to fight with volume, but he was making me pay for the volume, looking to cut those angles. So I had to change up my game plan, and that's my goal, man. I want to be able to adapt to any circumstance that I'm put in. I don't want to be typecasted as like all he does is this. Hopefully I showed today, like, yeah, man, you can shoot on me. And 2 out of, I'm going to say, like 7, you know, so taken down twice out of like 7 or 8 times. And I want to make that 0, but yeah, I want to be able to do it all.
Well, you overcame that emphatic takedown he did have in the second
Yeah.
round. I do want to ask you a little bit, you know, the future, honor roll, still developing. I mean, are you hoping that, you know, you get to stay active, even if obviously not in the tournament, and then hopefully next year you can be one of those guys that they put in the running?
Oh, absolutely, man. Who doesn't want to try for $1 million? I'm here to fight. I'm here to win. I'm here to make some money. So, yeah, I definitely would love to see if I can squeeze in another fight this year. So hopefully they bring me on in like, you know, I don't know, the second round of the playoffs or something like that. If they need to open another show, would love to. I need to stay active, build up my numbers, and just continue to get the experience because at the end of the day, the fighting part's easy. I feel like nobody really talks about all the media and the walk and just sitting in the back. Like, you don't train that stuff. And the only way you get to train is by doing it. So, yeah, I would love to just continue rattling off and being around all the cameras and doing all that stuff because once I get comfortable there, too, and can control those emotions, then I can really show my work in the cage.
All right, Citadel. Isaiah, I'm curious, obviously being so young in your professional career, what's that moment like getting to walk out for such a big organization in an arena?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, it actually started to get to me. Because in the Challenger Series fight, man, I was calm and cool. It was cool. And then today I woke up and I was like, man, I'm nervous and I can't figure out why. But it was the lights and all that stuff. And even though I played football at the Citadel, so shout out to all the guys that are in the stands, and the Citadel Bulldogs, and like we played at a high level. It's different when you're making the walk on your own. When you're walking out into the lights, and it's funny because I have a lot of friends here today. So walking out, it's the first time in a very long time that I've gotten to fight in front of a bunch of people that know me. So it's pretty empty out there right now, and you walk out and everybody's like screaming and stuff like that. So just gotta get used to it, but I love it, man. Pressure makes diamonds or bust pipes, and so I'm trying to shine.
The last one for me, obviously, you just mentioned you played football at the Citadel. How's that football background, you think, translate to mixed martial arts?
I'm not going to say football per se as transferring, but football at the Citadel, being a triple option school, being an offensive lineman, man, blue collar, punch the clock, triple option, grind it out, baby. Mental toughness, physical toughness. Like just being able to get that dog and just push and work, man. Like I think linemen, we're not credited for being the athletes that we are, but we're also smart. So shout out to all the linemen out there. like we can change, we can adapt. We're not just straight line people. And so I think it was that toughness of playing football, but especially being at the Citadel and playing ball at Citadel.
Congratulations on the win. You know, you seem to have an answer every time. You knew he was going to throw the kicks. You knew he was going to try for the wrestling. Every time when he actually did get you to the ground, it seemed like you automatically were trying to get out. Is that something you really worked on?
Yeah, so my coach is a core belt in jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't want me to get comfortable doing jiu-jitsu. So the only thing going through my mind as soon as my back hit the canvas was get up. I saw some openings for some jiu-jitsu stuff later on down the road that I'll be able to utilize, but I know if I attempted it today, man, he would rip my head off. So I was like, man, let's just get up. Let's just be smart. And I'm here to win, man. Like at the end of the day, I want to put on a great show and do it in an emphatic way, but man, I'm here to win. So if I don't feel comfortable doing something, or I'm like, maybe, nah, let's just get up and let's make him stand. Because again, Denzel's a great fighter, but I felt like on the feet, if I wasn't letting him get his shots off, I was making him move and kind of run and try to stay away from it. So I was like, cool, yeah, let's just stand up. I don't want to give up anything on the ground right now. Like I said, still working on my ground game, so don't sleep on it. But yeah, still working.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, you named jiu-jitsu, but is that the next aspect of your game you really want to develop, or you just want to keep going all the way across the board?
All the way across the board. Man, one day, I'm going to predict. I'm going to set out a prediction. Like, in a year or so, you'll see me hit a takedown that's going to look beautiful. Shout out to ATC. I might get another submission. Shout out to ATT. But, yeah, man, I want to be really well-rounded. I want to be able to adjust and adapt. Obviously, the feet is where I want to be. And, honestly, I want to be able to outstrike everybody. That's my goal. But if we go to the ground, yeah, I want to put people in a position to think that the way to beat me is by going to the ground. And then I want to be able to counter that and defend it, or even if we end up on the ground, stay on top, get in a top position. So.
And then last for me, we know you fight out of Vegas, but do you like being on the East Coast?
Man, I'm a South Carolina kid. Yeah, don't get it twisted, baby. I grew up in South Carolina. I moved to Vegas 2 years ago, so shout out to SC, 864, baby, a rep. So yeah.
USC.
Yeah, yes, the real USC. So yeah, coming back home felt great. As soon as I got off the plane, man, you feel the humidity, and you're just like, everybody's like, oh man, this air is different, and I'm like, it smells like home. Yes, let's go. So, yeah, the desert's not all it's cracked up to be. I love Vegas and all the people, and they've been great to me, but like, I miss grass and trees, and being in Charleston, you get the water.
Good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Isaiah, you were the underdog in this spot. Does it feel good to go out there, upset the odds, and bust some parlays?
Man, all right, so that's what my friends call me, the parlay buster, because for whatever reason, man, I can't get the nod on the odds, man. I don't know what I got to do. I probably got to start knocking some people out. So I'll give you guys that. Yeah, no, it feels great. Going to Citadel again, I always bring that up because it's part of my story, but it's an underdog story, man. Like I was slept on, I was discounted, and then turned into an All-American by going to a small school or a smaller school. So. Yeah, man, I don't mind being the underdog, but I know if I keep working the way that I'm working and fighting the way that I'm fighting, I won't be the underdog for long.
And let's take it a step further. At the end of every PFL fight, they show the commentators, like how they scored it, and how the smart cage metrics and all that stuff. They all said that you lost the fight. And what was interesting about that is we're back here, we don't have the sound on, right? So we can't hear the commentators, and no disrespect to them, they're amazing. Are you surprised that they all thought you lost that fight? Because we thought you won 2-1 pretty clearly.
Like I said, man, it was too close for comfort for my part, so I don't blame anybody for the nods that they give right there. I got to do a better job. I got to do more work. I think the ring dominance was something that was counted there, and the damage that I did. That first round I did a lot of damage, and so I feel like the movement wasn't necessarily as much a part of his game plan as much as it was to try to mitigate damage, and I think that's what was scored on. So I'm going to continue to try to dominate the center, but obviously get better. But yeah, no, I'm not surprised. It could have gone either way, and I'll give it to it. But that was my goal, too. I wanted a knockout. But in that third round, when I looked at my coach and I was like, yo, it's 1-1, my goal was like, yo, I got to try to win this third round. I got to figure something out. I got to put something together. So.
And lastly, yesterday at the face-off during the weigh-ins, I mean, it seemed like your opponent was having a little fun. I mean, he was playing some games. Do you feel like he underestimated you at all?
Nah, man. Denzel's a cool dude. Actually, after the Challenger Series, man, we had each other on Instagram. We were chatting, talking about, like, trying to train together before we got matched together to fight. But at the end of the day, it's just business. And anybody who played ball or played sports with me knows that, like, even if you're my friend, bro, like, if it's me versus you to do something, like, I'm going to bring it. It was cool. That's also been the cool thing about heavyweights being around the PFL. I haven't seen a lot of bad blood. I feel like, man, heavyweights, we're usually just chill dudes. We like to eat and we just want to fight. Nah, he was a cool dude. It was kind of funny. It took a little bit of the nerves out of the situation because I couldn't help but just like laugh.
Congrats, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, right behind and then over here in the center.
First off, Isaiah, congratulations on your win. From one South Connecticut to another, Columbia for me. How does it feel, being able to represent Citadel on that big stage? I know growing up, a lot of those Citadel guys are hard-nosed. A lot of people don't talk about that military school aspect of it. Do you think it prepares you in any way for this fight?
100%, man. I was an angry kid. Before I went to Citadel, I played football and was still an angry kid. And it wasn't until about my senior year that all the Citadel teachings kind of seeped in, calmed down, I relaxed. I learned to focus and dial in that energy. So I think the Citadel, and I will always talk about the Citadel and my success, both in the cage and just like outside of it. It shaped me and molded me for life. And I was one of those kids that like needed it. Didn't know I needed it, hated that I was there, but loved the fact that I did it.
Well, that's awesome. You came up, finished the first round pretty strong. Walk me through what was going through your head as you kind of sat down on the stool and you knew you were up 1-0 there.
Just looking to find my range. Again, just find my range, land my shots. And I knew going into the second round, eventually he was going to try to pull out some takedowns. I was like, he's going to shoot for it eventually. I think by the end of the first round, I had blocked. In my standard, I had blocked most of the kicks that he threw. So I knew eventually he was going to try to fade away from that. He started countering more and started timing those takedowns a little bit better. But yeah, after the first round, I was like, cool. I had felt his power too. And so at that point, I was like, yeah, we're cool. Like, I can stand in there. Like, we're good. There's nothing to be, like, shy of. And if he wants to move, I'm going to have to eat a couple to get inside. And so second round, you saw me try to push in a little bit more.
Last question. Obviously, you talk a lot about your striking first, but he did take you down maybe once or twice, I think two. Did your mindset change from your last fights, where you've now become a little bit more comfortable in the takedown, or was it still kind of the same, like unfamiliar waters for you?
No, this time I was definitely a lot more comfortable. Even in my last fight, I felt like I did a good job stopping Vitor's takedowns. I think he only got one. It was more the jiu-jitsu side, where it's like I'm comfortable and I'm confident, I'm competent on the ground. I'm very defensive in my jiu-jitsu, very defensive in my wrestling. And that's the way we're aiming to put it together, is I want to be able to stop everything. And then eventually, like I said, in about a year or so, or even less, you guys see me become offensive on the ground too. But man, I'm here to knock somebody out, man. I ain't gonna lie, like I want a knockout, man. I need to see my knockout like run across the highlights and stuff like that. That's what I'm here for. So we'll play the jiu-jitsu, we'll do the wrestling, and we'll defend all that. But like, yeah, I'm here to knock people out.
I just had one quick one for you. It looked like you guys were slipping on the canvas. Was that a factor at all? Was that really happening, or was it just?
Yeah, it's difficult, and I'm not gonna lie. I should have listened to Chico. He told me to put some water down, put my feet in it, because some of the places that we train, it's like that. And the first round, I walked around and I was like, oh no, we're good. But as soon as I tried to sit, I tried to plant and like throw some shots, because there were some openings for some counters. I just had to explode through them. And I went to explode the first time, and my foot slipped. And I think I threw the kick and I fell, and I was like, all right, man, this is slippery. So I got through the first round and kind of through the second round, but I didn't like my footing there. So in the third round, I'm like yelling to my coach, I'm like, water on the ground, and tried to like, because I knew I needed my feet for the third one. But yeah, it was a little slippery out there. So I feel like, especially as a striker and even like as a kickboxer, it changes kind of how you move, how you stand, and how you kind of want to throw. But I'm a sweaty guy. So back in my Charleston Muay Thai days, I used to just make pools and puddles on the floor of sweat. So I got used to kind of being like slipping around and learning how to adjust myself. So you make the adjustments and you fight what you can.